This is Debt Weapon. Now, on the surface, that September 2024 Federal Reserve rate cut, it was celebrated as this massive victory for the everyday American. But that narrative is a complete fraud. Actually, it was the starting pistol for hyperinflation. We are officially entering the final phase.
Think back to September 18th, 2024. That is the exact day the world's largest money printer made a terrifying, heavily calculated move. Slashing rates didn't fix the economy at all. Instead, it kicked off what we call the Great Melt-Up, basically a relentless surge in asset prices that is absolutely going to leave cash holders completely in the dust.
So the starting pistol has fired. Listen, for decades, you've essentially been living in a slow boil, right? Just a willing cog in this enormous, invisible machine. But here's the thing. By 2026, that slow boil becomes an absolute inferno. The data we're looking at points to a genuinely chilling reality. You have roughly 12 months left as a last chance to prepare.
Part 1. The Willing Cog Trap. You have to understand, this trap we're in, it's not some accident. It is a carefully engineered architecture of control. Look back to 1914. Henry Ford instituted the 40-hour workweek to ensure workers were just satisfied enough to never actually quit. Then you factor in the Prussian education methods from the early 1900s, literally designed to strip away free will. And today, that all culminates in the modern mass debt trap. It's built to lock you into that 40-hour loop forever.
Just listen to John D. Rockefeller. This is the man who heavily funded our modern school system. Quote, "I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers." Let that sink in for a second. The entire apparatus of our society was deliberately built to pump out submissive employees who just sit there and wait for instructions. And that exact mindset is what forged your modern financial chains. We're talking 30-year mortgages, $1.7 trillion in crushing student loans. It means you are physically chained to a desk, totally unable to walk away. And all the while, a lifetime of taxes acts as a mechanism where the government literally murders a portion of your time on Earth just to keep their machine running. Part 2. The 1970s Wealth Stunt.
Now, the rules of this game were quietly rewritten back in the 1970s. And the paradox here is just brutal. As a worker, your productivity has skyrocketed by 500% since then. Yet, your wages completely flatlined. Your hard-earned cash is evaporating to inflation. Meanwhile, elite wealth has absolutely exploded. And it's not through hard work, guys. It's simply because they own the assets. In this system, you are just a piece on their game board.
We call this the status quo reality. It's an economic machine that literally requires a massive compliant population to wake up, hate their daily lives, and just take it by accepting bad debt. And why? Simply to sustain a measly 2% national growth rate. The global economy is a collective fraud running entirely on the backs of the bottom 90% who are left fighting for scraps.
Part 3. The Mathematics of Collapse.
$33 trillion. Just let that figure hang in the air for a moment. That is the national debt. It's an unpayable burden. It is quite literally a mathematical impossibility to clear that through taxation. This massive pile of debt has transformed the entire U.S. economy into an incredibly fragile house of cards. But here is the most terrifying reality of all. The government now spends $1.1 trillion every single year simply servicing the interest on its debt. Think about that. They are spending more cash just to pay bankers than they spend funding the entire United States military, the most powerful military in human history. The debt has officially eclipsed the empire. So, because of that crushing interest, the government is backed into a dangerous corner. To keep this massive house of cards from collapsing in on itself, they're going to be forced to push interest rates back towards 0%. Honestly, it's an act of sheer political suicide, but it's the only play they have left. And in doing so, they will flood the zone with easy money, effectively destroying whatever purchasing power the dollar in your bank account still has. This dynamic creates the ultimate duality. Welcome to mediocre Stan. This is where your income is strictly capped by your hourly labor. If you stay here, you will inflate into poverty. On the other side, there is Extremistan. Here, wealth is totally scalable, untethered, and tied directly to assets. As the dollar plummets, things like stocks, real estate, and businesses in Extremistan are going to soar to unimaginable heights. Part 4. The Barbell Strategy. So, what is the escape plan?
The barbell strategy is the only logical way to navigate the coming wealth transfer without getting wiped out. Step 1, keep your stable job in mediocre stand for now. You need that baseline stability. Step 2, in your free time, you take massive, disproportionate swings in extremistan to build an asset vehicle that is completely untethered from an hourly wage. And step 3, model the thinking of successful outliers. You have to stop thinking like a worker waiting for instructions and start thinking like an asset owner.
Now, in this explainer, we're looking at one highly tactical solution to execute this: the 5-day faceless income fast start. This is a specific blueprint for building a scalable YouTube business without even showing your face. It explicitly shatters that mind-numbing instruction-following loop of the traditional worker. Instead, you're building a digital asset and extreme stand that works for you 24 hours a day.
But listen, breaking free isn't just about money. It is absolutely about physical autonomy too. You have to actively reject the toxic corporate cocktails fed to you by the system. That means stopping the use of cheap, seed oil-based products pushed by massive conglomerates. They're literally poisoning you, all while extracting your wealth. Take something like Evil Goods whipped tallow honey balm, for example. By choosing a tangible, all-natural solution like this, you are actively rejecting one of the system's toxic pillars. You're refusing to let giant corporations treat your body as just another revenue stream. Make no mistake, financial autonomy and physical autonomy, they are the exact same fight.
Part 5, the 12-month countdown. Right now, you are facing a definitive choice. Will you just sit back and watch your life savings get completely wiped out? Or will you finally snap out of that worker mentality and break free? Because I'm telling you, by 2026, hyperinflation will make assets far too expensive for the middle class to ever purchase again. That window is rapidly closing. The door is about to lock from the outside.
The system dug the grave of the economy, and make no mistake, they will bury the dollar to save themselves. So you have a year. Build your vehicle. Model the outliers, reclaim your life. The only question left is, when the machine finally breaks in 2026, which side of the lock will you be on? Stay dangerous.